Hey everyone, it is 47 degrees in my Florida garden today and it's noon. The sun is just now breaking through a high cloud cover and I went through the debate, like, do I cover my plants? Don't I cover my plants? The low temperature said 37, but I live north of our downtown, which is usually warmer because of the heat of being in town. So it's like 37 is pretty close to 32. I went ahead and covered some things and I'm glad I did. I want to show you what I covered, what I used, and I tried something new and I love it. So let's get to it. First is something old. These are clear trash bags that I ordered from Amazon last year. Actually, they're 2 years old now. Last year I didn't have to use them. Yay! But 2 years ago I did. And they're like little greenhouses. They fit over potted plants. I gathered them up and you can see I clipped them tight around the bottom of the potted plant so none of the heat can escape. This is my flame vine and the other one is my orange zest cestrum. These are both tropical plants, so they of course require a little bit of spoiling in the cool weather because they don't like the cold. Funny thing though, or actually not funny, but quite fabulous. Look down at the wildflower garden. I could just walk on by all of that because they're natives. They know how to survive Florida weather. That is the fabulous thing about planting natives in your garden, because if they're not natives, they're going to need some special care. This is my Pentas garden, and this is something brand new I just ordered. It is called a blanket. Is that not adorable? I'll show you the packaging in a minute. Blanket, like plant blanket. These are not that expensive and they come in rectangular form and round. These are 8-foot round blankets. I have those 3 in a row. I bought 4 of the 8-foot round ones and then I bought 1 of the big rectangular ones, which is over there. I would have bought more of the big rectangular ones, but they only have 1 in stock that was shipped overnight because, you know, I'm a last minute kind of person thinking, oh, I should get something to cover my plants. Now, I do have some frost fabric protector, frost what's it called? Frost fabric, I guess. And it's thinner, lighter, and it doesn't fold well. I like the texture and the sturdiness of the blanket. Let's get in closer and I'll show you what I mean. You can hear and see how thick this fabric is. It's way thicker and heavier than that white frost fabric, which I have some. I'll go in and pull some out and show it to you. So I feel like it's just going to do a better job protecting the plants. And also it's heavier. So you can see it was really windy. So I used all of my garden tools to hold the edges of the blanket down. This is because it was windy and I didn't want them to blow off. There's another garden tool. Down there, you know, you gotta be creative with your covers. Another thing I love about this, the round ones, this is an 8-foot round. This is over my pentas and porterweed. Porterweed does not like cold and neither do pentas. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But they have a gather on them. It's one of those one of these pull it tight things, so you can pull it tight to gather it around the base of your planter. And that is so fabulous. I love that feature. But if you don't want to do that, or you need to lay it flat over something, this flower bed is more rounded, which is why I like the idea of having the round one than another rectangle one. Plus, they didn't have the rectangle ones that could ship next day, but they did have the round ones. And I just used bricks to hold them down. This is over my potted red pentas. And over here, this is over my little tropical planting with some pentas as well. And then I used one of the clear plastic bags over the what's it called? Pagoda plant. Oh my goodness. And I also covered my new fire spike. I didn't cover my coral fire spikes because they're like really well established, but I just want to take extra care of this one since it's so new in the ground. The big rectangle one here also has grommets on it so that you could use stakes to hold it down, or you could just be like me and find random heavy things. And again, garden tools to hold the edges down. Whatever works. Right here in my garden room, I have a pile of the frost sweet, which I can still use. It's just thinner, and when, like, I did all that by myself because my husband was working. So like when you fling this in the air to lay it down, it doesn't have the heaviness to lay easily. So I just love the blanket. And honestly, this and the blanket cost about the same. Let me show you the blanket package. I still have them in the box. I literally just tore through it. The blanket, frost protection. So I linked these in my storefront. So down in the description of my video, right under where you're watching this video, if you're watching on technology, not your TV, there's the beginning of my description, and then it'll have more with 3 dots. And if you tap that more, it'll open up a little bit more of the description. And then if you tap the more in that section, you'll get the full thing. And then you can scroll down and find something that says Amazon storefront, and if you click on that, it'll just take you to all the things that I use on Amazon, and those are all affiliate links. Here is the it was a 10 by 20 that I got, but they have different sizes too, and honestly I'm probably gonna go order some more in case we actually do get a super freeze. So now I'm like, well, do I uncover all these? I mean, we might make it into the low 50s. The wind's blowing now, it's cold. They said our wind chills were going to be in the 20s today. Do I uncover it and then recover it tonight? Can I just leave it covered all day? I'm going to go do some research because the people want to know. Me. And I'll be right back and let you know what I find out. Okay, y'all are gonna love this. The Google AI thing came back. Let me tell you how I phrased my question. I said, if I cover my plants for a freeze, can I keep them covered the next day if it's going to freeze the following night? And the Google AI came back and said, no, you should uncover them during the day so they can get sunlight. But then if you go and read the actual links to stuff below, I read 3 of them and they all said, yes, you can keep them covered for up to a week. It won't harm the plant. So I want to know where Google AI is getting its information from. My clear plastic plants that are covered, I mean, they're just like they're in little greenhouses. The sun still shines through them. I'm going to go for it and just leave them all covered today. It's just like they're in an overcast setting. The one I am going to uncover is my raised bed that has my little seedlings in it right here, because this is really easy. I just threw a quilt over it and then clipped it on to keep it from blowing off in the wind. And I can just flip this back so these guys can get some sun. Let's see how they look. Yeah, they look good. Look at all those little babies. I think it's so funny. Now this went against my new rule. If you saw what I'm gonna try to do with my seeds. But look, these are zinnia seeds that I just scattered in here instead of being more methodical. If I had placed them around like one there, one there, one there, one there, it would have been so much better than they're all right there. So these guys I'll probably pull out. These are Mexican sunflowers, and I'll separate them and put them each in their own little pot. Look at these guys. We're just going to grow on the edge right here. That's where we want to be. And same here. So I'll probably come back and like maybe add some more seeds in, because I do want to leave these zinnias in these pots. And then these guys said, no, we're just not going to do anything at all. Same exact seeds, same exact location, getting the same amount of sunlight and water. And those 2 pots said, no, we're not here for it. We don't want to be plants right now. And this one only 2, but this one, look at all those. And then none, and then several. These are the marigolds, and they took longer to germinate, but you can see that some of them finally are, so yay. So everybody in here looks good, and I guess I'll come out later and cover them back up again for tonight, but everything else I'm just going to leave covered. It's not going to hurt them for a day, I hope. I also wanted to show you, look, I've got some zebra longwings in here, and I have covered the top. It's only with paper towel, but at night I put heavier on here, and I've got one of my grow lights on them because it produces some heat, so we're keeping them nice and toasty in there. I don't want to disturb them, so I'm sorry you're not getting a super good view of them, but oh gosh, we just need to get through maybe 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks and my winter should be over. It's gonna be a long winter. I'm just ready for this up and down and up and down. But you know, fortunately, even though we're getting back-to-back cold blasts, none of the lows have us in freezing, but we are getting in the high 30s, which is why I decided to go ahead and cover some things, you know, just to be safe. But everything in my garden seems to have fared well. Nobody looks like they're suffering. They all look quite happy. I'm sure those guys are nice and happy under their toasty little blanket. Dogs don't seem to mind. They're just out here exploring. Split leaf philodendron doesn't seem to mind. I think I'm more annoyed with this weather than my garden is. I imagine butterflies are too. They're all in a state of, they go into like a kind of dormancy. It's like a mini hibernation where they'll just be hanging somewhere and waiting for temperatures to warm up. And I wasn't able to cover everything. And look at those pentas right there. They did just fine. So I probably could have gotten away with not covering them. Okay, I'm just coming back outside. It's been about 2 hours and the cloud cover is pretty much completely blown off. The sun's coming out. It's a whole 2 degrees warmer, and I just wanted to come out and be in the sun for a little bit now that it's 49 degrees. And I'm kind of tempted to uncover some more of my pentas, so let them get some of that sunshine. I don't know. What would you do? Earlier, I said I would talk to you about pentas and porterweed a little later, so it's a little later. Pentas and porterweed will survive a freeze, at least in my garden they have in the past. But what happens is all the plant life above ground turns brown and crunchy, and the root system stays alive, and then in the spring it'll push out new growth. The reason why I don't like that to happen is even though the plant's still alive, you have to go for several months in your garden of it looking brown and crunchy, and I don't like that. So just to be on the safe side, I like to cover everybody and keep them safe, even though I wouldn't like completely lose them in a hard freeze. So I just wanted to share that with you. Years past, which you can't see those videos now unless you're a member. Members have access to all of my content, but you guys only have access to my most recent season, which was season 5, and this is now starting season 6 in my butterfly garden. But I have gone through several hard freezes in past seasons where I've had to live in a garden that just looks dead and crunchy, and it's not fun, and it's not pretty. Hey everyone, it's the next day, it's Wednesday, and this video is going up tonight, but I just wanted to pop back in and give a little update on what's going on. First of all, I forgot to recover my seedlings last night in the raised planters, the only thing I uncovered yesterday. In the evenings, let me tell you, I go all day that a lot of times at night I'm just so tired I just don't remember to do anything. So fortunately, they look okay. Everybody's still green. Little zinnia seedlings still looking good. Actually, they look a little taller, some of them, these guys right here. So yay. We've got 1, maybe 2 more nights of cold, and it's going to stay all all next week because there's another front coming, but our lows will be in the 40s. So everything's still covered. I just want to lift and peek and see how the red pentas are looking. Oh, they look perfectly fine. Oh, good. This is good. So, oh, look how cute and cozy they all are in there under the little tent. I love it. All right, I'm just going to leave them then. Looks like the research I did was right, and they can handle being covered. for a few days. Just tuck them all back in. There we go. There is a lot of condensation buildup in my plastic bags. I think it would be okay, wouldn't it? Um, let's take this bag off and peek. This is my pagoda plant. Oh yeah, it looks fine. Look, I set some other pots in there with it. There is a pot with a porterweed in it, and this is the pot with my Stokes aster, which should have been fine, but it's got 3 blooms on it, and I didn't want to risk it, so I just kind of set them in here with this, but it looks fine. All right, I'm going to go ahead and recover it. Okay, it's all tucked back in. So there's a look at everything. For sure tonight, our low was like 36 or something. And then tomorrow night, it says 39. So I might leave them covered another day. And then hopefully that's the end of our winter. You know, one thing I love about having the weather app on my phone, I use this one, it's like a radar app. I really, really like it. It shows cloud cover and everything, but that 10-day outlook, it kind of lets me know where I'm going. So like I said, once I get through these 2 days and the rest of the 10-day outlook, the lows are in the 40s, which is very abnormal for us to have that long of a stretch. But I'll take it as long as we don't get a freeze, because that's when my garden really suffers. But I just have to make it to mid-February, and once I'm there, I'm kind of pretty much clear of the chance of having a freeze, and we can just ride it out and let it feel like spring. So this 10-day outlook goes to, what's today? What's today? What's today? Today's January 8th. So the 18th. So this is how my mind works. That's about a month away from mid-February, and that's 3 10-day outlooks, which is 30. 3 10-day outlooks to get through, and I'll be safe. I love it. Okay, one more thing I want to talk about in this video is I get a lot of questions about caterpillars and caterpillars surviving the cold. And there's a lot of different information out there, but from what I can tell, as soon as it gets below 50, they're suffering. They have this ability to slow down their metabolism and go into a kind of state like of dormancy, like plants do, where they move very little. Sometimes if it's gotten cooler than 50, I'll come out in the morning, and if I have my caterpillars out in my Florida room, they'll just be hanging there, but I know they're okay, and as soon as it warms up a little bit, they'll be back in action. For this cold, I have a few Gulf fritillary caterpillars. They're in my house, and I have all of those chrysalides for the zebra longwings, which would have been fine because they can overwinter. They can handle the cold in the chrysalis. But there, some of the butterflies eclose, which I'm not releasing them of this. So they're in there too. So that whole enclosure in the house. But what I did find is, you know, caterpillars can tolerate small segments of time of cold, like 40s and 30s, but not extended. And if it hits freezing, no. That's the information I found. So I hope you find that helpful. Even if you don't raise caterpillars, but you have them in your garden, if you have any potted plants or their host plants, you could stick them all on there. Just move them in the house for a few days. Like if you're in Florida and we only have a few days of cold, put them in your house. And then once we're through that, you could move them back out into your garden, no problem. And you don't have to take on the responsibility of raising them. You're just like giving them shelter for the night. All right, so we're going to wrap up this video because I got to take it inside and we got to get this edited and up for you to watch tonight. So I hope you enjoy it. Tap the like button if you did. I will see you in the next video. Yeah, something I just thought of and I had to pop in and share. It's really only 2 10 days, because if the third 10 day looks good all the way out to mid-February, then I'm good to go in early February. That makes it even better.